Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back, and thank you so much for tuning in, or welcome if this is your first time tuning into my channel. I am Jessica Ba, or Just B for short, and I basically create videos to help people improve their everyday lives. And I am super excited about today's video because honestly, I feel like today's video is a topic that is global, meaning it affects all people. And I can pretty much bet that if you clicked on this video, it's because you've been through this exact situation and you would love to know how to make it easier. So as you can tell from today's title, today's video is going to be about breakups and the 3 reasons, according to ancient Greek philosophy, Stoic philosophy to be exact. I'm going to give you 3 reasons, or I guess you can call them lies that we tell ourselves that makes going through a breakup so hard, and then the 3 truths that we can start telling ourselves to make the breakup so much easier. So before we get started, if you are new to the channel and it's your first time subscribing or tuning in, welcome. If you would like to subscribe, you may do so right under this video. There is a red subscribe button. Just click that video. If you like this video, make sure to go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. Or if there's something that you wish you would have seen in the video that you didn't see, or if you overall just don't like it, go ahead and give it a thumbs down. But I want your honest feedback regardless of what it is. If you are among my existing subscribers, what up, boo? Love you guys the most. We just topped over 200. Not 200K, but just like regular 200, and I'm super duper excited. Thank you guys so much for staying with me and for helping me build my community of strong-minded individuals who are focused on solutions that can help improve every unpleasant event that you ever have in your life. So that being said, let's jump right in. Okay, so the 3 reasons why relationships or breakups are so hard, the 3 lies that we tell ourselves, and the 3 truths that we can tell ourselves that make it much easier. So lie number 1, or untruth number 1, I hate to say it as a lie because that does sound so negative, but it is basically an untrue statement and an untrue belief. So untrue belief number 1 about a breakup is that we need that person to be happy. So you're literally saying to yourself, oh, I need this person, I need him, I need her to be happy. And the mistake with that is in believing, first of all, that our happiness is sourced somewhere else other than inside of our own body. So literally we're believing that our happiness, the source of our happiness, is stored in another person and in something that is transient. So the best way to kind of combat this is, number 1, to be strong enough in your mind to know that all you need for happiness is to be a virtuous person or a good, morally strong and good-hearted person. And this again is from like ancient Greek philosophy. Stoic philosophy goes back to about 300 BC. If you want to cross-reference my video, you can look up philosophy of breakups / Stoicism, and it'll kind of expound on all of this information, but I'm just giving you kind of an abbreviated version, and some of you will get it and some of you will have to watch this video more than once, and that's fine. But that's lie number 1, is that we need that person to be happy. And when you really think about it, as long as we have like air in our lungs, food to eat, clothes on our back, shelter, we're safe, and we're still, breathing the whole air in our lungs thing, then really that's all we need to be happy. And from there, you can do things like be a good person, do kind deeds for someone else, volunteer somewhere, give away a service to friends or family, something that you're good at. You can do good deeds on top of that will help you to feel happy. But you have to stop telling yourself that your sole source of happiness exists in another person. That's a lie, and it should stop immediately. So that's number 1. Number 2 is that I'm entitled to that person. I own him, I own her, she's mine, I'm hers, that type of thinking. Now, in the beginning of relationships, that sounds so cute, like, boy, you know you're mine, or girl, you know you got me, that type of thing. It sounds cute, but when we go through a breakup, that feeling of entitlement or feeling like we are entitled to have this person in our life, it usually conveys itself in anger, which is also directly related to jealousy, because we honestly fear that we're going to lose this person that we feel like we own, that we're entitled to have in our life. So the best way to kind of combat this, okay, bird, rude. The best way to kind of combat this is to remind yourself that in this universe, we are not the source of anything. We're not even the source of lives that we give birth to, let alone to another person that we happen to fall in love with. So when you're thinking in terms of the universe and things that God gives you and takes away, this is the same thing as This is the same thing that a relationship is. When you gain that relationship, it's something that was given to you. When you're separated from that relationship or it's taken back, instead of looking at it as a loss, look at it as something that was returned to the one who is the source of all things. And that kind of sounds like, well, that's not really how I feel about it. And that may not be how you feel about it. Y'all, I'm out here in this field by myself, and okay, just gotta make sure nobody's coming for your girl. That may not be how you feel about it at first, but tell yourself that I not only am I not entitled to this person, but the moment I'm able to let this person go, we all know the saying, the old adage, when a window closes somewhere, a door is opened, or vice versa. So as soon as you're able to accept that returning of whatever that possession was that you were allowed to have for a short while or for a long while, and the more positive you're able to be through the trauma of that separation, the better your next blessing or relationship or job or whatever will be. In this case, of course, we're talking about relationships, but it's okay to say that your happiness was found in another person or that someone added to your happiness, but you have to understand that things like people, events, jobs, houses, anything that's material, anything that's outside of you is a transient source of happiness, meaning it can move, meaning it's not permanent. So it would be a good idea for you. And again, this takes a lot of mental strength, but this is what our whole community here is about on the Jessica Ba channel. It takes a lot of mental strength to be able to convince yourself that my happiness is not only in this person, the permanence of my happiness starts with me. And number two, as a someone that was created by the source of all things, I'm not entitled to anything, not even life that I give birth to, let alone another person. So that's number two. Stop telling yourself you're entitled to another person. You're not, okay? And it's better that way. Like, you let go of one thing and you get something better in return. So the more you're able to kind of not resist that whole breakup process, the bigger that return will be and the quicker you can go about getting that return. Okay, so number three, and this one is probably the hardest one. Well, one of the hardest ones. Sorry, itch. And that is telling yourself, I'm never going to get over this. I love this person. I love him so much that there's no way I'm going to ever, ever, ever get over this. And for this one, there's not really any kind of trick you can do to your mind to make it easier. But you do have to remember that time heals all wounds. And that's not a saying that just came out like in the early 2000s. It didn't just come out in the 1900s. Time heals all wounds is an age-old adage, meaning it's a universal truth, and you are no exception. Your heartbreak is no exception to the absolute truth that time heals everything. However, when you're dealing with a heartbreak, like a real heartbreak, and it's really someone that you love and are pining after, it's not enough to just say, well, time heals all wounds, or there are plenty of fish in the sea, because you're kind of ignoring the elephant in the room, which is that you severely miss that person. So the best thing to do in allowance, in coupling with allowing time to just heal you, is to, when you're in that time, respect your feelings and be honest with yourself about what you're going through. So if you want to cry, cry. If you want to hang out with your friends, hang out. If you want to be alone, be alone. If you want to go on nature walks in the middle of the city, go on nature walks in the middle of the city. But allow yourself the time and the gentleness and the kindness and the love from you to heal in your own time. And also equally important with that and that whole time category is to not succumb to the temptation of using false comforts when you're going through this healing process. By false comforts, I mean things that will eventually kind of aggravate your emotions: alcohol, drugs, stalking your ex's new girlfriend, like those type of things that are going to irritate your already kind of fire in your belly. Don't do those things. I know it may seem like, oh, this is just going to make me feel so much better, but that's instant gratification, and that's not what we're looking for, because the more you love a person, then naturally the longer it may take for you to get over that person. Allow yourself that time, and do so in a way that you are the most loving and gentle and just kind, and we're going to get through this. I know better is coming. I know that this person was not the only source of my happiness. They just were able to add to my happiness for a moment. The universe gave this person to me, and I was able to learn X, Y, and Z. Now this person has been returned. to the world, and I can now wait patiently and gracefully and gratefully for something else. And of course, all these things are much easier said than done, but go ahead and start saying these things to yourself now before you get into a breakup. That way, when you get into a breakup, you can already be kind of ready. And when you first go through that trauma, that's when it is important to start applying these tips and tricks. Don't wait a year after the breakup to start trying. It's easier to handle problems at first than to wait and try to handle them at last. So these are my tips for making breakups much, much easier. Remember the difference between your transient happiness and your permanent happiness. Know that we are not truly entitled to anything in this world except to wait patiently on God's generous blessings. And 3, know that with time, in time, all wounds, pains, scars will heal. So that's all I have for you guys today. I hope that you were able to enjoy this video and get something out of it. Please, if you like this video, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. I do want your honest feedback regardless. And also, I ask that you please share this video with anyone that you know that's going through a bad breakup or has been through a bad breakup that could benefit from this information. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time. And okay, and still recording. Okay, all right. Next time.